Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pure Governors Baseball live here on KCCR Sports. We're going to try to get to the action here in just a second. Want to apologize for all the technical issues we've been having with this broadcast, but should be ready to go now. Governors and the Jefferson Cavaliers in action. Pitch low here from J.J. Buchholz, currently on the mound for the Governors. This is the top half of the third inning. Currently scoreless between the Govs and the Cavaliers, and it has been a story of the pitchers and the defense so far, as that pitch from Leinbach finds its mark for a strike. And the wind begins to pick up a little bit here at Hyde Stadium. Governors and Cavaliers competing for potentially the top spot in the region. A high fly ball deep to right field, and making the catch is Trevor Rounds for out number one. Good work by Rounds to locate that baseball. Had to be pretty on point to get to it when he did, but it helps Pierre to out number one in the top of the third. Carson Mediger sent away. That'll send on the catcher, Easton Riley, for his first at-bat of the game. As you can tell, this has been moving rather quickly thus far. High pitch here for ball one by Buchholz. JJ, of course, enters the game as a very solid pitcher. He's had a pretty good season thus far. Throws this one high. Ball number 2, 2-0 count. And again, the Governors coming into this game with a 6-1 record overall in South Dakota play. Buchholz fastball just finds the top of the zone for a strike. Count goes to 2-1. And Jefferson entering this game with a 6-2 record in South Dakota play. They were supposed to play last night against Lincoln, but had the game rained out. Low pitch by Buchholz. That'll lead to a 3-1 count. And again, this is the top half of the third inning. Gonna get that situated for you folks at home. Here is a drive into center and a nice sliding catch by George Stalley for out two. Stalley had to locate that one in a hurry, but was able to find it. He retires Easton Riley, and that will lead to out number 2. That'll send on the number 9 hole hitter, Caleb Goodard. And Goodard, another one of those pretty solid hitters for Jefferson thus far this season. Enters this game with a .250 average. 3 ribbies thus far on the year. First pitch from J.J. Buchholz is just wide for ball one. Count goes to 1-0. And a swing and a miss, 0-2. And again, this is exactly what Buchholz and Pierre want to see. The pitching keeping up. This ball fouled back up and over and into the cage. Almost out of the ballpark the wrong way. Count stays at 0-2. Scoreless between the Govs and Jefferson thus far. Here's a chopper left side that gets through the hole, and that's going to be a base hit for the Jefferson Cavaliers. Caleb Goodard with a single into left. And a runner aboard here for Jefferson with 2 outs. That was a nice piece of hitting by Goodard, and exactly the kind of break that Jefferson needed at this juncture. So we'll see if Buchholz can handle the top of the order as Noah Grabeau gets ready for his second at-bat. Rounded out to second his last time up. Count goes to 1-0 here. Second one on the way. And Buchholz right now, main idea is just trying to keep the Cavs at bay, but a stolen base is going to be delivered by Caleb Goodard that time, able to get on to second as he kind of caught the Governors napping. Not much that the Govs could have done in that situation. Charlie Simpson would have had to have a rocket arm, and although he does, he just couldn't have enough time in that spot. So a runner now in scoring position for the Cavaliers. Pitch here by Buchholz. Count goes to 2-1. With 2 outs, runner at second is Goodard. Swing and a miss here. Count goes to 2-2. Great strike administered by J.J. Buchholz. That's the high fastball that he's been able to use time and time again in this game, especially to great effect in this third inning, and it's paying dividends. Trying to retire Jefferson on this side. move this game to the bottom of the third. Pitch from Buchholz is going to be sent into foul ground and way out of play. Count's going to stay at 2-2. Governors and Jefferson did face off last year, as they do most every year, and it was a split series. Jefferson won one of the games by a score of 7-5. Pierre won the other 1-0. This pitch to the outside by Buchholz. Count goes full. Payoff pitch on the way, 3-2. Runner on second is Caleb Goodard. Governors trying to keep the score at 0-0 in this first of our two-game doubleheader. And that's high, ball four. And Noah Grabeau forces a walk. He is on to first base. Runners on first and second for Jefferson. And this is the pressure that the Cavaliers want to apply on Pierre as this game progresses. Just keep them guessing that little bit. Keep them on their heels and maybe force them into a mistake when the time comes. They've been opportunistic all season long. Here's a throwback to second as Buchholz attempted a pickoff. Shufflebuying was there, but unable to do anything with Caleb Goodard in that juncture. 2 outs. No count for Brody Jacobson, currently at the plate. After Noah Grabeau, the DH, forced the walk. Here's a high pitch, swing and a miss. Count goes to 0-1, and that was a great off-speed pitch by Buchholz that time. Just able to catch Jacobson guessing. And again, that's what Pierre needs more of. If how Jefferson's pitching is, you know that scoring is going to be at a premium in this game for either side. High pitch by Buchholz, and that'll send the count to 1-1. But you need every strike, you need every out that you can get. And if your pitcher can help you to do that, then it's going to help you tremendously. 1-1 with 2 outs. Throw back to first. And just able to get back was Grabeau. Bridger Babcock playing first base today. He was right there and ready, but unable to do anything with Grabeau. Count is 1-1 with 2 outs for J.J. Buchholz and the Governors. High pitch, up above the zone. Count goes to 2-1. As we zoom out here at Hyde Stadium, beautiful day here in the capital city area. Partly sunny, low 60s expected for the high today. It's perfect baseball weather here in central South Dakota. That pitch is high by Buchholz. That'll send the count to 3-1. And this is the danger zone for Buchholz and the Govs that they haven't had to contend with thus far today. They've been able to hold Jefferson at bay most of the time, at least in these first 2 innings, but this third inning is proving taxing on Buchholz. And if he's not careful, he could load the bases here. Bunt's going to be laid down. Buchholz is going to have to throw on to first, but he's going to do it easily, and that will be out number 3. Great execution and great tempo by the Governors. That retires this side, and we are on to the bottom half of the third inning. We'll be right back in just a moment here for Pierre Governors Baseball on KCCR. Back in 30. Want technology solutions you can trust from a neighbor you know? Comtech, locally owned and serving Pierre and surrounding area since 2009, is dedicated to keeping your home, farm, and business connected and secure. We offer a full range of services, from audio and video, security, surveillance, and networking with expert installation and support. Visit our storefront, call us at 605-224-4066, or visit our website, comtechplus.com, to experience the Comtech difference. Comtech, your local technology experts. Welcome back to Pierre Governors Baseball here on KCCR. Dylan Simmons with you, and we are just about set for the bottom half of the third inning. Governors and Cavaliers currently deadlocked at 0 apiece. And again, it's been the battle of the defenses so far. That has been the story, and really the story for Jefferson has been their pitching. Ethan Bigger stepping up to the mound, and he has been sensational thus far. 5 straight strikeouts on Governors. Sutton Sunshine, Charlie Simpson, Dawson Getz, Ridge Linebach, and Trevor Rounds all retired on strikes. And there is no sign that that's going to slow down for Ethan Bigger. And he's got a chance to keep that going against this Governors offense. But If there's one thing we've known about Pierre thus far this season, it's that they find ways to make things happen. Kind of reminiscent of the 2023 Diamondbacks as far as the offense is concerned. Even when the offense may not be firing on all cylinders, at least when the moment is the brightest, the Governors seem to find a way, and they're going to need more of that right here. So Babcock to lead off. He'll be followed by George Stalley and Parker O'Brien. 7, 8, 9 due up in the order. And there is a zipped fastball by Bigger. And if our information is correct, this is a guy who can throw a 90-plus fastball. Already been secured by a junior college and is one of the premier pitchers in South Dakota high school baseball. Low fastball this time. Count goes to 2-0. Governors thus far have picked up South Dakota wins against Rapid City Stevens, Mitchell, Aberdeen, and a couple other Sioux Falls schools. That pitch finds the zone. Count goes to 2-1. Pierre's certainly been tested this season, but Jefferson may just be their toughest opponent when you consider the trials that they've faced and the opponents that they've gone up against. As that pitch is low. Count goes to 3-1. This is the first time that Bigger has really had any issue with an at-bat, and Bridger Babcock has given it to him. Let's see what Babcock can do with this 3-1 count. And a swing and a miss. Got aggressive that time. Kind of chased that fastball. And it makes the count full at 3-2. Governors coming off a 13-11 record a season ago. But they've already had a sensational start to this year and a swing and a miss for Bridger Babcock. And that is the 6th straight Governor to be retired on strikes. Yet another strikeout for Ethan Bigger. That's going to be 6 in a row. Carter Shufflebein, the lone batter to not be retired on a strike. As we're fixing some stuff on the YouTube stream, going to just have a purely radio broadcast right now, and that is going to be a strike for Bigger on George Stalley. So that'll make the count 0-1. One away here in the bottom half of the third. Another fastball from Bigger and a swing and a miss. And again, the Governors just continue to have no answer for Bigger's pitching thus far. Stalley playing center field. And he has been very, very solid in the outfield thus far. And he's another swing and a miss by Stalley. That is going to be out number 2 here for the Governors in this bottom half of the third inning. And a 7th straight Pierre Governor retired on strikes. And I got to tell you, Ethan Bigger, as impressive as you could make him out to be just hearing about him, seeing him in person, it's a whole different ballgame. This is an absolute stud on the diamond right now. And he's showing it against the home team Governors. Count goes to 0-1 here. As it's Parker O'Brien, the stud third baseman, up to the plate. He's been really incredible this season, especially on the defensive side. Another revelation for this Pierre Governors baseball team. Count goes to 0-2. O'Brien enters this game with a .227 average, 1 RBI and 6 runs. He had an RBI single in the 5th inning against Stevens back in that first series of the season, and another swing and a miss. And that will do it for this bottom half of the third inning. So the frustration continues for the Governors, but right now Ethan Bigger is on fire. 8 straight Governors retired by strikes. We're on to the top half of the fourth. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in 30 right here on KCCR Sports.
Hey, yo, Speedo's Lawn Care.
Hello. Say, my yard's in rough shape. It's got weeds, brown spots, and crabgrass.
Yeah, no problemo. What shade of green you need? We got 31 shades of green over here. Even the latest shade of septic tank grass green. That one just naturally gives off a glow.
Call the professionals at True Green. They know how to get your lawn healthy and keep it healthy. They guarantee it. All technicians are trained and certified.
Call True Green, 224-1916.
Welcome back here for Pierre Governors Baseball on KCCR. Dylan Simmons with you, and a beautiful day here in the capital city area. Top half of the fourth inning between the Pierre Governors and the Jefferson Cavaliers at Hyde Stadium. So far scoreless between these two defensive-minded teams. And again, it's been all about the pitchers thus far, J.J. Buchholz and Ethan Bigger, but Bigger especially has been sensational for Jefferson. 8 straight strikeouts here in the first half of this game. But we got a long way to go in game number 1, and Pierre is no stranger to slugfest here in this 2025 season. And we'll see what questions can be answered in this top half of the 4th inning. Coming up to the plate for his second at-bat is Noah Kenzie, number 14, playing third base today. Flew out to right his last time up. Trevor Rounds took care of him. And we'll get our first look at him live on the broadcast. Fastball is going to be grounded to short. Picked up by Getz. Getz throws on to first, and that will be out number 1 here in this bottom half, or rather top half of the 4th inning. Good work by Dawson Getz. He's been great shortstop all season long, and he cleaned that one up nicely. It's that sort of infield defense and discipline that Pierre's going to need in this game, because you can't rely on Buchholz to get every single out by a strike. It's just mathematically not really going to happen every time, so you're going to have to be ready to make those plays, those execution plays, and that's what we just saw right there. 1 away here in the top half of the 4th. Still scoreless between the Govs and the Cavaliers. Here's a ground ball left side, and that's going to be an easy base hit for Mason Payne. Found a soft spot in the defense and put it exactly where it needed to be, and the Cavaliers have 1 aboard in the top half of the 4th inning. That is the 3rd hit for Jefferson thus far on J.J. Buchholz. Mason Payne now 2 for 2 on the day. He has found something against number 23. 1 away, top of the 4th. Runner on base for the Cavaliers. Man at the plate is Carson Hughes, and he's been the real power hitter for Jefferson this season. One of the power hitters, I should say. Top batting average on the team entering this game, .438, 5 RBIs, a .500 slugging percentage, and 7 total hits on the year. Count is at 1-0. Buchholz taking his time. Fires in a fastball high. Count goes to 2-0. Payne thought about moving for a second, got a little bit off the bag. Jefferson has stolen base already once in this game, and they would be remiss if they didn't try to do it again. Buchholz keeping a close eye over at first base. Fastball lifted to center field. Racing back for to Stalley, makes the catch, and that will send Payne back to first base with 2 away. And again, that's a much-needed out for Pierre. You just do not want to give Mason Payne any traction in this situation. And good work by Stalley to range back and find that baseball, especially with the sun out. Although it doesn't appear that it's going to be interfering with the Governor's ability to see in the outfield. That's one thing that, as a baseball player, you always want to be careful of. As we have our next man up at the plate. This is Boston Bryant up at the plate. Mediger coming up next. He's on deck. Bryant so far has popped one up to the right side of the field and got out in his first at-bat. Trying to remedy that right here. Sends one high into the air, into space. It's going to crash down near third base and be caught by Parker O'Brien. He cleans up this side. We're on to the bottom half of the 4th inning here in the capital city. Still scoreless. J.J. Buchholz and the Pierre defense doing the job so far. We'll be back for the bottom half of the 4th in just a moment here on KCCR.
When you're looking for quality trash pickup services, look no further than Envirotech. 6 days a week, their trucks are on the road picking up trash, even holidays. They're also the place to contact for recycling services. Their friendly, professional staff is ready to assist with weekly pickups or even special pickups. Check out the website at envirotechwaste.com. Envirotech is locally operated. Call 224-4804. Envirotech Waste Services in Pierre, proud to support high school athletics.
Welcome back here to Pierre Governors Baseball on KCCR. Dylan Simmons with you. We're here towards the bottom half of the 4th inning in this epic clash between the Pierre Governors and the Jefferson Cavaliers. First of a 2-game doubleheader today. I guess a doubleheader being 2 games kind of seems obvious, but you get the point. We got a great couple games on set, and we've got a bottom half of the 4th inning with a lot to be determined between the Govs and the Cavaliers. It is Ethan Bigger still on the mound. He's been unbelievable so far. 8 straight strikeouts on the Pierre Governors. Pierre has not managed a single hit on him so far. And this is only going to be the second at-bat for Carter Shufflebine, who leads off for the Governors in this half inning. Pierre wearing black uniforms with gray pants today. One of the signature looks thus far this season. They've had a lot of success in those black shirts. High fastball delivered here by Bigger, and it's just at the top of the zone. Count goes to 0-1. Good crowd on hand in the early going, and we expect it to only continue to swell as we approach the back half of this doubleheader. That ball fouled off by Shufflebine, gets the count to 0-2. And right now the biggest thing for him is you want to be aggressive, but you don't want to be too aggressive because Bigger can heat up that fastball and really make you pay for it. That's what Carter Shufflebine and the Governors have to be aware of. Choose your opportunities wisely. Patience that time pays off. Count goes to 1-2. Carter Shufflebine, again, another solid hitter for the Governors. Entered this game with a .258 batting average, 2 RBIs on the season. He's going to send a chopper right up the middle, picked up by short, thrown on to first, and it got there in time. 6-3 put out on Carter Shufflebine, cleaned up by Brody Jacobson, the shortstop, got it over to Carson Hughes, and that will be out number 1 here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. But it was contact by Shufflebine. He's the only player that has not been struck out by Ethan Bigger so far. And now we'll have to see if his Pierre Governor teammates can follow suit. That pitch is in the zone for a strike. Count goes to 0-1. Bigger again, just finding a way to test the Governors. This time it's Sutton Sonnenschein at the plate. Pitch is high here. Count goes to 1-1. Sutton Sonnenschein, left fielder today. Team leader in walks forced this season with 7, a .541 on base percentage. And that .541 on base percentage is a testament to the creative ways that he finds to get on base. He's also got a .409 batting average entering this game, and he's looking to swell that with a big shot right here. Lets this one go by, and that time he was made to pay for it. Count goes to 2-2 as Ethan Bigger was just able to fit that one in the top part of the zone. A lot of high pitches for Bigger so far, and he's made the most of it. That one is just away from the zone. Count goes to 3-2. So good work by Sutton Sonnenschein to at least get it to a full count, at least give himself an opportunity here. 9 hits thus far on the season, which ties him for the team lead. And he forces a walk again. As I just said, the team leader in walks forced, and he proves me right by getting on to first. That's his 8th walked force of the season. And the Governors finally have a runner on base for the first time in this game. Not always the prettiest way to do it, but you'll take it any way you can get it, and Sutton Sonnenschein did just that. Runner on first for Pierre, Charlie Simpson at the plate. 1 away in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Fastball lifted high into the air into foul ground, and no chance for Carson Hughes to do anything about it. Lands in the stands, and the count goes to 0-1. Pierre thus far in the season has played in 3 home games, 2-1 at home thus far on the year, 5-1 on the road or in neutral site games. And a swing and a miss for Charlie Simpson brings the count to 0-2. They've only played, as I mentioned, 3 home games thus far. Would have played a 4th against Mitchell, or rather against Aberdeen on Thursday of last week, but rain came in during the early part of the 2nd game after that 10-inning epic. And that ended up pushing the 2nd game back / canceling it. And there's no apparent makeup date scheduled at the moment. So as far as we know, that will be the only time that Pierre and Aberdeen meet, barring the postseason. And that pitch is high for ball number 3, or rather ball number 1. Count goes to 1-2. I was looking at the strike total instead of the ball total that time. You can see what's happening on the field, but that doesn't mean that the broadcaster is always going to have the best eyes on the scoreboard. And that pitch is going to find the zone for a strike. Wow. Great breaking ball by Bigger that time, and he catches Simpson looking. And that is the 9th strikeout for Ethan Bigger in this game. That'll send on Dawson Getz to the plate. And again, they need Getz, the cleanup man, to really get something going, just spark some kind of offense. Feels like whoever gets any bit of traction at this juncture is going to be the team that can maybe start to run away with this game just a little bit. Of course, there doesn't seem like there's going to be a lot of separation on either side, but anything you can get is going to be huge. 2 away here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Dawson Getz entering the game with a .267 average, 8 RBIs, and 3 runs. Lets this one go by. It's high. Good work by Getz. Count goes to 2-0. And this is the patience that a veteran like Getz brings to the table. He's seen a lot of pitches in his time and a lot of pitchers in his time. Understands what needs to be done in certain situations and when to be aggressive and when not to be aggressive. And so the count goes to 3-0. Bigger maybe starting to lose that fastball touch just a little bit. And he's on the verge of walking his second batter here in this 4th inning. Let's see how Dawson Getz wants to play this. Does he choose to be aggressive? He doesn't, and it's a strike. Fastball by Bigger just found the top of the zone. Count goes to 3-1. That's one that I think Getz thought for sure was going to be called for ball 4, but the home plate umpire right there on top of it called it a strike. 3-1. Here's a drive into right that is going to be caught. Mason Payne came up and scooped it away. And that will do it for the bottom half of the 5th inning. A disappointing ending. Pierre gets 1 runner on base, but that's it. Just a walk by Sutton Sunshine. Otherwise, a clean inning for Ethan Bigger and the Jefferson defense. We'll be back for the top of the 5th in just a moment. You're listening to Pierre Governors Baseball on KCCR. When life throws you a curveball, May Adam Law Firm in Pierre is here to help you knock it out of the park. For over 130 years, we've been providing trusted legal expertise in business, family law, criminal defense, and more. Proud sponsors of this season's baseball action, we're committed to serving our community both on and off the field. Need legal advice? Step up to the plate with May Adam Law Firm. Visit mayadam.net or call today. May Adam, South Dakota's law firm since 1881. Thank you, May Adam. Back here in the capital city, it is a beautiful day here at Hyde Stadium. Pierre Governors, Jefferson Cavaliers. Dylan Simmons on the call with you as the Cavs are just about set to get back up to the plate. J.J. Buchholz having himself another sensational game this season, and he's trying to keep it going for the Governors, currently tied 0-0 with the Cavs. It has been the lowest scoring game thus far of the year, as the score would obviously indicate, but it's very much been a chess match between these two teams, trying to see who's going to blink first, who's going to be the first pitcher to give up that big shot. And there have been opportunities on both sides, chances to maybe get some sort of stronghold, but usually the outfield has been there to kind of take it away or take away the opportunity. It's going to be about getting shots into the gap. That's what both teams are going to have to find a way to do late in this game. Great fastball from Buchholz. Count goes to 0-1. Reminder that directly after this game, we will have game number 2 between the Govs and the Cavaliers right here on KCCR. Stay tuned for all of that. And there's a beautiful strike, off-speed pitch by Buchholz. Gets the count to 0-2. He and his contemporary Ethan Bigger over on the Jefferson Cavaliers side, they've been the stars of the show today. This time Bigger lands one, or rather, Buchholz lands one a little bit outside the zone. Count goes to 1-2. Looking for a strikeout to open things up in the top of the 5th against Mediger. And Kaysen Mediger lets it go by, and that was a wise decision. Count goes to 2-2. A little high that time by J.J. Buchholz. The 2-2. And that's ball 3. So it's been an 0-2 start for Buchholz here early in the 5th. It's gone to a 3-2 all of a sudden. And right now, in danger of walking this batter. Here's a fly ball out to left. Lineback is there. Diving is the center fielder, Stalley. He couldn't get to it. And that's going to be a single for Kaysen Mediger. And that is exactly the kind of shot that the Cavaliers wanted to start things off in the top half of the 5th inning. Mediger kind of dropped a bloop shot into left center. Looked like it was favoring the left side to Lineback, but he kind of drifted back towards Stalley, and as he tried to make a diving play for it, he couldn't catch up to it in time. A runner on first here for the Cavaliers, the first hit of the day for Mediger. Easton Riley now up. Here's a pickoff attempt back to first. I think they got him, and they did. Mediger stepped off the bag and got caught napping. Great awareness by Buchholz, great cleanup by Bridger Babcock, and a huge out for the Governors here in the top half of the 5th. So just when Jefferson was starting to get something going, it's immediately ripped away. And that is the kind of heads-up playmaking that Pierre needs in this game to hang with a very tough Jefferson team. Count goes to 1-0 on a high pitch by Buchholz. So all of a sudden, Easton Riley was set up in a beautiful position, had a runner on first, a pitcher who's maybe getting close to hitting that wall, sends a fly ball into left, Lineback racing after it. He's not going to be able to catch up with it. Another bloop shot by the Cavaliers and 2 straight singles. Easton Riley onto first base. That is going to be now hit number 5 for the Cavaliers in this game, if my math is correct. And it is. Hit 5 for Jefferson thus far. They've had 6 total runners on base. Noah Grabeau, the leadoff man for the Cavs, forced to walk earlier on. So we're kind of back to where we started. Runner on first here for the Cavaliers, as they've got Caleb Goodard, the center fielder, at the plate, the 9-hole hitter. Runner on first is Riley. 1 away here in this top half of the 5th inning. Cavaliers as a team are batting .275 on the season. That's above Pierre's batting average. Here's a check swing, and the pitcher takes care of it. He retires Goodard, but the purpose was to advance Riley on to second, and from that end, the job was accomplished. That's going to be 2 away here in the top half of the 5th inning, but still a good job by Buchholz to race after it and just take the easy decision of going and getting Riley. Didn't get selfish with it and try to go take out Goodard or anybody else in that situation. So after Goodard was taken out, Riley on to second. This ball popped up in the infield. Few players down there, and the second baseman, Carter Shufflebein, takes care of it. That does it for the bottom half, rather top half of the 5th inning. We remain deadlocked, 0-0 between the Govs and the Cavaliers. The Governors will have a chance to take the lead when we come back. Stay tuned right here on Pierre Governors Baseball on KCCR.
With any dream, the wind won't always be at your back, the sun won't always be shining, and some rain is going to fall. American Family Insurance is like a good solid roof that you can trust to protect your biggest dreams. With plans that could save you up to 23% when you bundle your home and auto. Also, you can continue to dream fearlessly, no matter what comes your way. American Family Insurance.
Visit mfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company assigned its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Contact the Brittany Shufflebein Agency, LLC, 224-6627.
Welcome back here for Pierre Governors Baseball on KCCR. Dylan Simmons on the call. And we've got a 0-0 game, yes, 0-0, between the Pierre Governors and the Jefferson Cavaliers at Hyatt Stadium on a beautiful Friday afternoon in the capital city of Pierre, South Dakota. Tell you what, the view of the bluffs and the surrounding area, it just gets better and better with age. And the Governors are hoping to soak in that view with a win after game number 1, but if they're going to do it, they're going to have to turn this offense around. They've had some chances, but they've been few and far between with the resourcefulness and incredible play of Ethan Bigger. He's been unbelievable so far. He has 9 total strikeouts against the Govs thus far in the game, and Pierre has only managed 1 player on base, that being Sutton Sunshine, which came in the bottom half of the 4th via a walk. Here's a ball that's flying right back to our press box, and it lands on the roof. I told the guys beside me that if it came my way, I was going to try to catch it. it wouldn't be the first time I've had a ball fly up in the press box. Happened to me back when I was in the Alaska Baseball League, calling a game in Anchorage. Matsu Miners and Anchorage Bucks. By the way, that's a great league if you ever want to check it out. Low pitch by Bigger. Count goes to 1-1. As Leimbach is at the plate. Leimbach, Rounds, and Babcock due up. 5, 6, 7 in the order for the Governors. This is Leimbach's second at-bat. Sends a chopper left side. Kenzie's there, throws on to first, and that's a 5-3 putout for the Cavaliers. One away here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. And again, the Governors unable to get out of the infield as Rounds will make his way to the plate. The strikeouts haven't been nearly as frequent as they were early on, but Pierre's facing a different kind of problem now. They're making some contact, but they're just not able to send one deep enough to have nobody be able to catch up to it. As that's going to be a swing and a miss by Rounds. Count goes to 0-1. Trevor Rounds enters this game with a 115 average on the season, 3 RBIs and 8 runs. You could argue that overall he's the best base runner that the Governors have. He's got incredible quickness, and he puts it to good use time and time again. Sometimes used as a courtesy runner for the Governors on occasion, especially in a game-breaking situation. 1-1 by Bigger. Pitch is high. Count goes to 2-1. One away here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Bigger stoically sends it to the plate. And that pitch is high for ball number 3. So all of a sudden, the Governors have an opportunity to put another runner on base. Sutton Sunshine got a walk in the bottom half of the 4th, and now we'll see if Trevor Rounds can produce the same. And he does. Ball 4. That sends Rounds on to first, and the Governors have a base runner in the bottom half of the 5th inning. You've got the first piece of the puzzle going, but now the question is, can you maintain that with other players in your order? And that's the question that Bridger Babcock and the rest of this Governors lineup will have to answer. Number 15, Babcock. He's been pretty solid at junctures of this year at a sac fly RBI versus Mitchell in game number 2. And right now, I think his main goal is to try to get Trevor Rounds into scoring position. I'm sure that's what Scott Rowie and this Governor staff would appreciate him doing. Rowie, of course, in his first season as the Governors head coach, 7-2 record overall and 6-1 in South Dakota play. He has been an incredible revelation at coach in his first season, and he has taken this Governors team to a great point. Bunt laid down, and that's going to be a foul ball as it was just outside the line. But it was a heck of an effort by Babcock, so he showed his hand with the bunt. We'll see if he wants to go back to it as the count goes to 0-1. You know, the art of bunting has kind of become a lost art in the major leagues, and that's one of the reasons I kind of love the high school game and college game a little bit more to some sense, because that kind of strategy is much more prevalent, and it's fun to see, man. Babcock struck out swinging his first time up. This is his second at-bat, believe it or not, of the game. Bottom half of the 5th, and we've only been going for probably about 45 minutes or so, I'd say. And somehow we are near the completion of this game already. It has been a game played at a Barry Allen pace. Pickoff attempt on Rounds, unsuccessful. Carson Hughes, the man near the first base bag. He's been somewhat busy today, but also has had his fair share of downtime with the dominance of Ethan Bigger. But I would guess as this game reaches its finale, he may get a little bit more. Pitch is high here. Easton Riley was ready to throw back to first, but smart by Trevor Rounds to stay near the bag and not risk it. We saw Pierre take out a Jefferson base runner in the top half of the 5th inning on a pickoff move, and now the Cavaliers seemingly wanting to replicate that. Count is 1-1. One away in the bottom half of the 5th, and it's quiet right now, eerily so here in Hyde Stadium. There's the bunt laid down. Babcock's going to race his way on to first. Throw is high, but Hughes able to bring it down. However, the bunt does its job and sends Trevor Rounds on to second. So the Governors do have a runner in scoring position and now have an opportunity with the right play to possibly get the first run of this game. But they've got to be smart with it. 2 away. As Babcock is retired, it'll send on George Stalley, the center fielder, number 4, number 8 man in the order. He's made some great plays in the outfield today. Had a couple of close misses as well. It's been an up and down day for the Pierre outfield, but the most important thing is they've managed to keep the game at 0-0. And right now, that is the key. The speedy rounds at second. Pitch is low here. Count goes to 1-0. And if you want anybody on base right now, Trevor Rounds is absolutely your man. Again, as I said earlier, maybe the best base runner that Pierre has in their possession. And his speed is going to be crucial if Pierre wants to put a run on the board. But the second piece of that puzzle is that George Stalley has got to find a way to get him to home plate. As the count goes to 1-1 here after the strike from Bigger. Bigger has not had a strikeout since the 4th inning. Got one on Charlie Simpson. Caught him looking. At one point, he had 8 straight strikeouts in this game. But after the 2nd inning kind of cooled down, or rather 3rd inning cooled down just a little bit. Foul ball, count goes to 1-2. And, of course, when you have that kind of hot streak, kind of hard to suspect that you would be able to keep up that kind of momentum. Just shows how sensational Bigger has been. But it's going to make it that much sweeter if Pierre can find a way to get a run on the scoreboard in the bottom of the 5th. As Miley Cyrus once said, it's about the climb. Swing and a miss by Stalley, and that's going to be strike 3. So there will be no run for the Governors in the bottom half of the 5th. We remain deadlocked at 0 runs apiece, and we're on to the top half of the 6th inning. We've got a pitcher's duel in the capital city. Don't go anywhere. We'll write the next chapter when we come back on KCCR Sports.
Looking for your next new or used car, truck, or SUV? Then go no further than the comfort of your own home. Shop online at lambmotor.com. On lambmotor.com, you'll find the vehicles Lambs has in stock. You can schedule a test drive or your vehicle's next tune-up, all online. New or used, shop for it all online, anywhere you are. Lamb Motor has the right vehicle for you. Lamb Motor in Oneida and online, lambmotor.com.
Welcome back to the capital city. Dylan Simmons here on KCCR Sports. Top half of the 6th between the Pierre Governors and the Jefferson Cavaliers on tap. Brody Jacobson to lead off, the number 2 man in the order for the Cavs, followed by Noah Kenzie and Mason Payne. And keep an eye on Mason Payne, especially if the Cavaliers get a couple runners on base to start things. He is the power hitter for this Cavaliers team, the number 2 batting average on the Jefferson team, and he's got a chance to possibly break this game open if they can get some runners on base in this top half of the 6th. But J.J. Buchholz has been doing a great job of keeping that from happening. He's been sensational all game long, and he's now trying to finish that job. But the only way you can do that is by getting runs in your own right. Pierre's had their own struggles with that. It has certainly been a pitcher's duel here today. Buchholz fires in a low pitch. It gets away from Charlie Simpson. Had to watch it go by. Count goes to 1-0. That's the kind of pitch that you can afford right now, but if there's a runner on base, that is the last thing you want. Fastball from Buchholz, and he put it wide of the zone, a little bit to the left, and the count is 2 balls and no strikes. Cavaliers trying to move to 7-2 on the season, and another low pitch by Buchholz. We've got a 3-0 count with no outs. He's in danger of issuing a leadoff walk to Brody Jacobson, the second baseman. Not this time. Gets the strike. Count goes to 3-1. And that is the kind of pitch that J.J. Buchholz has specialized in so far in this game. Here's a drive into right, and that is gonna be caught by Trevor Rounds. What a play by Rounds to come up to that baseball, and like Swiper the Fox, he takes it away. That is Porter Hunsley, rather, in right field. Not sure why I had Rounds down. I see. So Trevor Rounds moved to center field. Probably missed that earlier when I was looking at other statistics, rather. So I appreciate our stat crew clearing that up for me. That is out number 1 here in the top half of the 6th inning. So the Governors now, with this game deadlocked at 0-0. Brody Jacobson retired on the fly ball into right. Noah Kenzie at the plate. As that pitch is high, count goes to 2-1 for Kenzie. J.J. Buchholz looking to get another big strikeout. Ground ball left side. Picked up by Getz, thrown on to first. Had to going off the bag was Babcock, and the ball's on the ground. That's going to be safe at first for Noah Kenzie. Babcock had to go off of the bag to try to get the baseball, and he ended up bobbling it and not getting it cleanly, and that allowed Kenzie to make his way onto first. It's going to be an E3, it looks like. So Mason Payne will come to the plate, and all of a sudden, the Cavaliers have a runner on first, and it's Pierre's own making. So 1 away here in the top half of the 6th. Runner on with an error is Noah Kenzie. 1-0 count. 1 away. 5 hits for Jefferson, none for Pierre thus far. And now Buchholz has somebody else that he's got to be aware of with Payne at the plate. And as I mentioned before, he is the home run hitter, the lone player that Jefferson has that's managed a home run thus far this season. Best slugging percentage on the team, most hits on the team with 9 total. Had 2 on Tuesday against T-Area. And Buchholz sends that pitch high. Count goes to 3-0. And it looks like Charlie Simpson wants to have a conversation with his pitcher. And looks like Scott Rowie and the Governor's coaching staff will make their way out to the mound just for a second. Talk things over. Governors don't appear to have anybody warming up in the bullpen, best I can tell. But we'll make sure to keep an eye on that. So right now, Buchholz will stay out there. And, of course, you don't want to use too many of your arms if you can help it, because Pierre not only has another game after this, but they've got a doubleheader coming up on Monday against Huron. So arm management right now for Scott Rowie is very crucial. And this Governor's coaching staff has to be ready for future games and not just this one. And it's that long-term strategy that makes this so interesting. Fly ball out to center. Here's Rounds, and he's got it. Rounds will throw back to first. It won't make it in time, but that will be out number 2. And good work by Rounds to chase that one down. 2 away in the top half of the 6th as Mason Payne is retired.
The first baseman, number 24,
Carson Hughes comes to the plate. So again, Rounds at center field. Porter Hunsley is at right. Linebach is in left. Dawson gets shortstop. Parker O'Brien at third. Carter Shovelbein second. Bridger Babcock first. Buchholz on the mound, and Charlie Simpson is behind the plate. Pitch high by Buchholz. Count goes to 1-0. Still scoreless. Runner on first is Noah Kenzie, who got there on that E3 just a second ago. Buchholz's pitch is sent into foul grounds. This will not be playable for the Governors, and the count will move to 1-1. And that's one thing that Jefferson has managed to do a lot more than Pierre in some aspects, is force foul balls, force at-bats to continue, and it's those extended at-bats that increase your chances of possibly getting somebody on base. I know that's kind of a rudimentary thing to say, but it does bear repeating, because the more chances you have to swing at it, the better chance you've got to put somebody on base. This one flying up towards the press box, and it lands somewhere in the audience. Souvenir City for somebody. Go get that baseball, kids. Count goes to 1-2. Carson Askdahl, the head coach of the Cavaliers. In his first season with Jefferson, or at least as far as we know, first season with Jefferson, 6-2 overall. Time called momentarily by Hughes. Wants to take a moment. And Askdahl has taken this Jefferson team to pretty strong heights this year. Has them arguably in contention to compete for the state championship. Has them playing at a very impressive level. As the pitch is going to be low. Count goes to 2-2 for Hughes. Buckholz tried to goad him into swinging at that one, but Hughes was not falling for it. The 2-2. Ground ball left side, and can't get to it. That's going to be another base hit for the Cavaliers. Carson Hughes on to first, and for the first time in this game, we have 2 runners on base for either side as Hughes gets the single. Boston Bryant will be on next. So Noah Kenzie moves on to second. Carson Hughes at first. And the Cavaliers are in the best position of anybody all game to put a run on the board, even with 2 outs. As, again, Scott Rowie makes his way out. And we do have, it appears to be a pitching change coming up. And we'll get a look at that in just a moment. As it initially appears as though Hudson Stosher is going to make his way to the mound. Or maybe not. He's making his way back to the dugout now. Stosher was out momentarily there. Not sure if there was confusion. And well, now he's going back towards the mound, so we'll clarify that for you in just a moment. 0-0 game between the Governors and Cavaliers, and now the umpires are having a discussion about this situation. And again, Stosher was running out there to take Buckholz's place, it looked like, and now the umpires are probably going to have a rule discussion with Rowie, trying to explain the situation to him. Again, we will be live with our post-game show after this one to see who wins this game and also what can be said going into game number 2 about adjustments that either side have to make, what worked in the first game, what didn't, and what to expect in the second half of our doubleheader. And now looks like Buckholz will make his way to the dugout. That'll end his day. Not a bad one for J.J. Buckholz. He's going to end his day with 5 2/3 innings pitched. And didn't allow a single run in this game, at least when he was on the mound. And now we get our answer as to who the new pitcher is going to be. Looks like it's going to be, I believe that's Porter Hunsley on the mound. And it is. So Hunsley moves over from right field. Now he's going to be on the mound. So this is going to create a few different switches for the Governors that you would imagine. We'll get an eye on who's in right field momentarily, but now you've got Hunsley on the mound.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 50-50 ticket has been drawn.
And it looks like Sutton Sunshine may end up switching to right field.
5-7-2.
Remember that earlier on in this game, Sutton Sunshine, for most of this game rather, he was the DH, so he will, it looks like, move into right, which he's no stranger to playing in the outfield. And again, this is a move that Scott Rowie and the Governor's coaching staff obviously feeling as though is necessary at this juncture, and you can't blame him. Buckholz has played tremendously, but with how far we are into this game, you just don't want to test the limits too much. So it looks like Sutton Sunshine is going to be in right field, as far as we can tell. Forgot to bring my binoculars, so I'll have to remember to do that next time. But you got Sutton Sunshine in right. Trevor Rounds remains in center. Ridge Linebach in left. Gets at shortstop. Carter Shufflebine at second. Parker O'Brien third. Bridger Babcock staying at first. And Porter Hunsley on the mound, the second pitcher for the Governors in this game. And he's got a somewhat unenviable task, but not an impossible one, 2 outs, runners on first and second. Boston Bryant to the plate. He's popped it up twice, sends one high and deep to center, but Rounds is there. And Trevor Rounds he dropped it. He dropped the ball, and a run's going to score. And the Cavaliers have one across on an E8. Unbelievable. Noah Kenzie comes home, and the Cavaliers are on top 1-0, as that was nothing short of a mistake from Trevor Rounds. Had the ball in his sights, but just couldn't hold on to it. And all of a sudden, Jefferson is on top 1-0. So Boston Bryant got all the way to second after that missed catch by Trevor Rounds. Hughes on to third. And with 2 outs, the Cavaliers have finally gotten the opportunity they were looking for. Now it's going to be Kaysen Mediger at the plate. The second baseman lets this one go by. Count goes to 1-0, but that's one that Trevor Rounds is going to be thinking about for a while to come. Had that ball in his sights, had it in his glove, but he just couldn't secure the process of the catch, and it cost Pierre a run. Fly ball out to right. Should be easy for the Governors, and Sun and Shine collects it. That will be out number 3, but the Cavaliers do capitalize and put a run across on an E8 from Trevor Rounds, and Jefferson finally breaks the mold. We'll see if the Governors can respond in the bottom half of the 6th inning. You're listening to Pierre Governors Baseball on KCCR. Back in 30.
No one likes to have electrical problems, but when they happen, call Todd's Electric at 223-2518. With over 28 years of experience, Todd's Electric can handle any type of electrical problem, whether it's residential, commercial, or agricultural. Their knowledgeable staff knows and understands the importance of your home, business, or ag facility and are prepared to help. Call Todd's Electric at 223-2518. That's 223-2518. Todd's Electric, serving the Pierre and Fort Pierre areas. The line to power.
Back here in the capital city, Dylan Simmons on the call with you. We are into the bottom half of the 6th. Your Pierre Governors down 1-0 to the Jefferson Cavaliers, who scratched a run across off of an E8 by Trevor Rounds in the top half of the 6th inning. Run scored by Noah Kenzie, the lone player to score a run thus far. Governors down 1-0, trying to find their way back in this one. It's not a huge mountain to climb, but it can feel like more than what it really is, considering how good the pitcher Ethan Bigger has been thus far today. And right now it appears that he is going to stay on the mound, at least for the moment. Of course, he's one of those prospects that certainly has the capability to go as long as he needs to go. And he could likely play this whole game if that's what's required. And he may not have to worry about extra innings if Pierre cannot muster a response. 9-1-2 due up in the order. Parker O'Brien at the plate, followed by Carter Shovelbein and Sutton Sun and Shine. Pops one back foul. It'll land somewhere towards the audience. Count goes to 0-1. Pierre has not even managed a runner into scoring position thus far in this game. It has been tough sledding against Ethan Bigger and this Cavaliers defense. Pitch is high. Count goes to 1-1. Bigger has shown signs of relenting a little bit, but it's been just that, very few and far between. Just signs as the count goes to 2-1. And nothing concrete that Pierre's been able to use. And it helps that this Jefferson defense has been so on point. Here's a ground ball that goes right past the pitcher, picked up by Short, thrown on to first for out number 1, a 6-3 putout. Brody Jacobson right there to clean it up with Carson Hughes. Parker O'Brien retired in his second at-bat, and that will be out number 1 in the bottom half of the 6th inning. It'll send on Hudson Stosher, going to the plate. Thought it was Shovelbein for a second, but nope, that's Stosher who's actually going to be up there. Ground ball left side is going to be fouled. So Stosher goes up. There have been a lot of changes with the Pierre defense as of late, so we're trying to make sure that we've got all those cleared up for you. But Stosher now at the plate instead of Shufflebein as a pinch hitter in this situation. Count's going to go to 1-1. 1-0 game. Cavaliers hoping that the one run they got is all they'll need. That pitch is high. 2-1. Hudson Stosher, the team leader in saves, a perfect ERA thus far in the season. He's the closer for this Governors team on many occasions and does a great job of sealing victories, as he did against Mitchell in game number 2 on Monday. Pitch is low. Count goes to 3-1, and he may just have an opportunity to get on to first with a walk forced. 3-1. Pitch to Stosher. Fouls this one into the cage. It'll bounce back into the audience, and we go full. 3-2. Big moment for Hudson Stosher. No runners on base. Count is full, 1 away. Pierre trying to get something going. Chopper left side. Cleaned up by the third baseman, Kenzie. Throws on to first, and that's out 2. So Stosher retired in his first at-bat of the game. And that will lead to Sutton Sun and Shine, at least we believe, taking the plate. And it is Sutton Sun and Shine. No changes for now on that end. Sun and Shine, the number 2 man in the order. 1-0, Cavaliers on top. Sun and Shine at the plate. One of the more explosive hitters that Pierre has in their repertoire. Sun and Shine most of the time plays outfield. Started off as the DH today. Currently playing in right. Fouls this one back. Count goes to 0-2. Team leader in walks with 8 thus far on the year. Forced one in his second at-bat last time up. And Pierre could certainly use that once again right here. The 0-2 with 2 outs. Sun and Shine lets it go by. Smartly done and wisely done. 1-2. It's that patience that Sun and Shine has become so accustomed to. 1-2. But no patience that time. Swing and a miss, and that's out 3. We move on to the top half of the 7th inning, and the Governors still cannot find the spark they need offensively. The Cavaliers are 1 inning away from taking game number 1 in the capital city. We'll be back for the top of the 7th in just 30 seconds. You're listening to Pierre Governors Baseball on KCCR.
Financial investments are very important, but so are the investments of time, patience, and encouragement our young athletes receive from their coaches, teachers, and mentors. Your Pierre area Edward Jones Financial Advisors understand this. That's why Edward Jones is a proud sponsor of Governor Athletics on KCCR. Go Govs! For all your investment needs, call or stop by one of our offices to visit with your Pierre area Edward Jones Financial Advisor. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Welcome back to the capital city. Dylan Simmons here with you on this Friday afternoon. This is Pierre Governors Baseball on KCCR. As you're getting an up-close look at the Pierre Governors defense trying to hold Jefferson at bay for one more inning. It is Porter Hunsley who is currently at the mound. Got the solid start he was looking for in the bottom half, or rather top half of the 6th inning. But the offense went by fast for Pierre in the bottom half of the 6th, and now in the final inning, at least as far as we know, depending on if there's any extra innings in this game, Governors are trying to give themselves an opportunity to get something going in the bottom half of the 7th and not let the Cavaliers take this one away. It has certainly been a pitcher's duel so far, and there's no reason to think that's going to change as we approach the end of this game. But if ever there were a time to do it, it would be now, and that's what Porter Hunsley will look to do. We've got Dawson Getz still at shortstop. Taking a look at second base, it looks like that's going to be Stosher out there. Taking over for Shufflebein. O'Brien remains at third. And Richard Babcock at first. Ground ball to third. Picked up. O'Brien throws to first. Low throw, but collected by Babcock. Nicely done. 5-3 put out for out 1 on Easton Riley. And they need that kind of execution to maintain this score at 1-0 throughout the rest of the 7th inning. If you missed it, the Governors gave up their 1 run because of an error. Trevor Rounds in center field dropped the ball, and that allowed the Cavaliers to strike a run across. Caleb Goodard to the plate, drives one to right, and it's caught by Sonnenschein. Nicely done, as he was Johnny on the spot that time. Located the baseball well, gives us out number 2. Sonnenschein made a great adjustment near the right field line to locate that baseball. And now with 2 away, we've got Noah Graybow coming up, as the southpaw Hunsley sends it over to the left side. Throw on to first by Rounds. Nicely done for a 5-3 and a 1-2-3 inning for Porter Hunsley. As Graybow is retired, that sends us to the all-important bottom half of the 7th inning. Can the Governors tie it up or take the lead here at home and maybe get a walk-off against the Cavaliers? That to be decided in just a second. We'll be back in 30. You're listening to Pierre Governors Basketball on KCCR. Back with Pierre Governors Baseball here on YouTube and the KCCR, or rather, the KCCR Sports YouTube channel and KCCR. Apologies, folks. It's been a bit since I've been on the call for one of these sports games, but having a blast with all of you listening in. We are having issues with the KCCR live stream right now, so we'll try to get that back up for you as soon as we can over on YouTube. Pierre Governors in the bottom half of the 7th. Trying to find some magic, down 1-0 to the Jefferson Cavaliers. Charlie Simpson heads to the plate. Simpson gets in line block, 3-4-5 due up in the order. Of course, that's barring any pinch hitters in this situation. Ethan Bigger still on the mound. Count goes to 1-0 here. As Getz lets that one go by. Smartly done. 2-0 count for Getz. And that's going to be a strike. Count goes to 2-1. That was right on the edge of the zone that time. Getz was watching it for a little bit, and it was just where it needed to be for Bigger. That ball is fouled. Sent back towards the cage. Count goes to 2-0. Here we go, the 2-2. And that's fouled back. Keeping the count at 2-2 for number 7, Dawson Getz. Played shortstop all day today, as he's done for most of the season. .267 average entering this game. Does not have a hit yet. And that's strike 3. Got caught looking by Ethan Bigger. Or rather, that's Charlie Simpson, my apologies. Lost track of where the players were in the order. Sorry, I'm trying to also fix this stream at the moment. So apologies for that, folks. That's one away here in the bottom of the 7th as Charlie Simpson is caught looking. Now Dawson Getz is onto the plate. Lets that fastball go in high. And the count goes to 1-0. But as I was saying about Getz, he's been one of those players you've been able to rely on for most of the season. He does not have a hit yet, though. Struck out swinging in his first at-bat. Flew out to right in his second. Let's see if he can change that right here. Fastball goes by, and the count goes to 2-0, or rather 3-0, actually. Ridge Linebaugh currently on deck, another solid hitter for the Governors. They need anything they can get right now. 3-1. And the thing about Getz is you don't want to let anything go that's too easy, but you also don't want to be there waiting and then have something slip by. And that's strike two. Count goes to 3-2. And that's the danger that you can sometimes run. Excuse me, in that situation. 3-2. Dawson Getz facing a full count. No runners on base. One away. Bigger's pitch, fastball, Getz swings and misses. Struck out swinging, and the count goes from 2-1 to a strikeout on Getz. As that's 3 straight for Ethan Bigger, and it seems as though he's somewhat recaptured his form from earlier on in the game. 2 away, and now 1 out away for the Cavaliers from taking game number 1 in the capital city. That ball is sent to the right side by Ridge Linebaugh as he fouls it over. Count goes to 0-1. Should be back up on KCCR Radio. Glad to have you listening in on 98.9 FM. This is KCCR Pierre, a Riverfront broadcasting station. Ridge Linebaugh at the plate. Lets it go by, and the count goes to 0-2. Linebaugh struck out swinging his first time and had a ground out to third his second at-bat. Oh, boy, that one's high, and it almost caught Linebaugh right in the noggin. Got a 1-2, but he's down to his final strike right here. It's on the shoulders of Linebaugh to keep Pierre's hopes alive here at home in game number 1. This is a ground ball right up the middle for a base hit. Great shot from Ridge Linebaugh, and that's the kind of clutch hit that Pierre needed. They'll take every little bit they can get. Rome wasn't built in a day, and a run isn't constructed in one hit all the time, but that will be a much-needed single for Ridge Linebaugh to put the Governors in position to at least have one runner on base and have an opportunity in the bottom of the 7th. And that is the first hit that Pierre has actually gotten all game. Ethan Bigger's first hit allowed. So, kind of crazy to consider that Ethan Bigger was on a no-hit trajectory until that point. Didn't mention it because you never want to jinx the pitcher in that situation. That's kind of one of those cardinal rules, am I right? But now we can acknowledge it since the no-hitter has been blown up by one Ridge Linebaugh. But now we've got to see if Pierre can make any good on it. Trevor Rounds at the plate. He reached base last time via a walk. Lets this go by for strike 1. Count is at 0-1 with Linebaugh at first. Bridger Babcock is due up if Trevor Rounds can survive this at-bat. 0-1 pitch is in there for a strike. Great fastball by Ethan Bigger. And Pierre is once again down to their final strike. Trevor Rounds reached on a walk last time, but struck out swinging his first time. Bigger trying to finish the job. Pitch on the way, low and outside for ball 1. Remember, we will have our post-game show directly after this game is over to recap all the action from game number 1 and preview game number 2 of today's doubleheader between Pierre and Jefferson. Swing and a miss by Trevor Rounds, and that will do it for this one. The Jefferson Cavaliers take the victory here at Hyde Stadium in game number 1 by a score of 1-0, and they get the job done on the back of Ethan Bigger, their sensational stud pitcher. Gives up just 1 hit all game long and has a sensational 10-plus strikeout performance. And now Bigger and the Cavaliers move to 7-2, yes, in South Dakota play. Governors fall to 6-2. But we are far from done here on KCCR. Game number 2 will be on tap in several minutes. But first, we are going to send it to a 3-minute timeout. When we come back, we'll have post-game coverage from Hyde Stadium of the Governors and the Jefferson Cavaliers. Back in 3, right here on KCCR.
You just got a quote from a company and are now being billed for not choosing them. Many contracts have what's referred to as a contingency agreement. These typically state that if you don't go with them, you, after insurance has approved the repair work, will be charged a percentage of the job they quoted. Ask up front if they charge to provide an estimate. Never sign anything that you haven't fully read or understand. If you have any questions, reach out to the South Dakota Office of Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division at 800-300-1986.
Beck Motor Company is proud to sponsor the Pierre Governors baseball team this season. Just like the Governors, we believe in hard work, dedication, and striving for excellence every day. As these young athletes give it their all on the field, Beck Motor Company is here to deliver top-quality Chevy and Cadillac vehicles and unbeatable service. We're committed to supporting our community, and there's no better way to show that than backing our hometown team. Visit Beck Motor Company today and find the perfect vehicle to fit your lifestyle. www.beck-motors.com, 605-224-5912. Go Govs!
Walking together in faith, living together in faith, working together in faith, that's who we are.
Hi, this is Pastor Sam Hanschke. I hope that our athletes have an excellent and successful season. I pray that God would continue to richly bless them. I invite you to join me in praying for our athletes during the year.
We're Faith Lutheran and you're here.
Did you know it is important for your child to see the dentist at the time their first tooth erupt? A healthy smile begins at birth, and there are many variables, from healthy eating habits to good oral hygiene and routine dental care. Hi, I am Dr. Michelle Hofer. At Missouri River Dentistry, we enjoy working with people of all ages. Dentistry is our profession, but people are our focus. I invite families to come experience an office that uses the latest techniques and equipment to be sure you receive that healthy and happy smile. To schedule your appointments for your family, call us at 223-2021. Kids love us, parents trust us.
Wagner Auto Company is your complete transportation headquarters. You'll find a great selection of quality new Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, and Jeep vehicles, plus a great selection of quality pre-owned and certified pre-owned vehicles. They'll take good care of you after the sale with a full-service parts and body shop, along with a friendly financing team that'll do their best to get you into your next new or pre-owned vehicle with financing that fits your budget. Wagner Auto is your local, family-owned, full-service dealership in Pierre. WagnerAuto.com. That's WagnerAuto.com.
People helping people.
Have you ever wondered what the benefits are of becoming a Owyhee Federal Credit Union member? At Owyhee Federal Credit Union, we reinvest profits in you. We do this in the form of lower interest rates, higher dividends, and low to no fees. So come check us out or come in at 221 East Pleasant Drive in Pierre, because at Owyhee Federal Credit Union, we treat our members like they own the place because, well, they do.
Owyhee Federal Credit Union.
Most of us already know that Gales Gas of Pierre is the place to call for propane. They offer an automatic fill plan so you never have to worry about running out of propane. They accept debit and credit payments or a budget payment plan to spread out the cost throughout the year so you never have surprises when you get your bill. For delivery, convenience, and great customer service, call Gales Gas at 224-5518. That's Gales Gas at 224-5518.
Welcome back here on KCCR Sports YouTube channel. Dylan Simmons with you live at Hyde Stadium. And we've got a beautiful day on tap for some baseball in the capital city. Final score in game number 1 between the Governors and the Cavaliers, 1-0. Jefferson taking it over your Pierre Governors. And we'll take a look at how they did it. Really, the story of the game is Ethan Bigger. He just took over this game throughout the course of it and made it a very quick affair. A 10-plus strikeout performance. He had 8 straight starting in the first inning and going all the way into the third. Retired Sutton Sonnenschein, Dawson Getz, Charlie Simpson, Ridge Linebach, Trevor Rounds, Bridger Babcock, and George Stalley, and Parker O'Brien. Can't forget about that as well for 8 straight, and got a total of 14 in this game. So a 14 strikeout game for Ethan Bigger. And again, we heard a lot of good things about him entering this game, and he lived up to the hype 100% and prove just how good he and his team can be when they are firing on all cylinders. The lone run of the game came courtesy of an E8 committed by Pierre that sent in Noah Kinsey. He initially got on base due to an error by the Governors, an E3 committed by Bridger Babcock, and eventually an E8 from Trevor Rounds would send Kinsey home for the lone run scored in that game. So it was pretty odd that the only thing that really separated the two teams in this game was execution, because really J.J. Buchholz and the Pierre pitching staff with Buchholz and Porter Hunsley played a great game. They were right there with Ethan Bigger and this Cavaliers team all the way through, but they just weren't able to capitalize at the end and maintain the execution on defense all the way through. And it's just those little bitty mistakes that seem small in the moment that ended up costing Pierre big in the end. And it's what allowed the Cavaliers to pull away for the 1-0 victory. And now Jefferson can celebrate as they look ahead to game number 2. Can't celebrate for long, though, as the Governors will be looking for some quick revenge. We'll see if they can do it in just a little bit. We're going to go to a 4-minute timeout. When we come back, we'll have KCCR Weekend News with News Director Zach Nelson. We'll be back in quite a few minutes for game number 2. So we'll take a 4-minute timeout, then a 5-minute weekend news segment, and then another 4-minute timeout, and then we'll be back for game number 2 right here on KCCR Sports. Make sure you stay tuned. We'll be back in a few.
Dakota Sprinkler and Landscaping wants to make it easy for you to get that lush green lawn and that yard haven that you've been dreaming of. Visit dakotasprinkler.com to make appointments for sprinkler system spring startup, service calls, fall winterization, and landscaping quotes. Trust Dakota Sprinkler and Landscaping's professionals to get you through the planning and installation to make your landscaping needs a reality. Visit dakotasprinkler.com today.
Hey you. Are you at a job that is fulfilling, has good benefits to support you or a family today, and retirement goes down the road? If you just said no, listen up. CHS River Plains is hiring operations personnel, drivers, and custom applicators at several locations. These come with a knockout